proposing a $5,000 tax credit for small businesses for each new hire this year. Is this the right move to create jobs? Let's bring in Peter Flaherty, president of the National Legal and Policy Center, and Christian Dorsey, director of External and Government Affairs at the Economic Policy Institute. Thanks to both of you for joining us. Peter, let me start with you. Tax credits are a great idea in theory, although I got in trouble for saying in theory somewhere else yesterday. But is it enough? I mean, $5,000 one time, it seems like it's not enough to really get things going. What's your opinion?
Tax credits also involve a lot of paperwork, but this is truly a bad idea. It's subject to gaming by employers, and it's been tried before. In the 70s, it was tried, and 2/3 of the jobs that were affected, the hires would have taken place anyways. I think this is policy by afterthought. It's the kind of thing you stick in a speech, although the president did campaign on this. It was such a good idea that it was left out of the stimulus package. What small business needs is across-the-board tax cuts.
Right.
Many small businesses are sole proprietors.
All businesses. I want you to amend that.
That's correct.
All businesses. Christian Dorsey, every single person outside of the Obama administration believes that American business tax rates are too high. What is wrong with lowering those marginal tax rates on a permanent basis to make us more competitive and rejuvenate incentives? That's the part I don't get.
Larry, the real issue for businesses is that they don't have enough demand. They need customers for their goods and services. That's what's going to allow them to prosper. We can talk all we want about tax credits and tax rates, but the real issue is that you've got so many millions unemployed who are not spending, who are not allowing these businesses to grow. So really, the key thing that ought to be done is to not work with tax credits and tax rates, but to really figure out what we can do to get people back to work so we pump that demand back into the economy.
Christian, you just undermined your own argument.
It's an easy equation.
There.
All you have to do is leave more money in the pockets of small businessmen, and they will use that money to hire more people.
I mean, you said you got to put more people back to work. Isn't that what a tax credit for employing people is all about, Christian?
A tax credit is just one piece of a larger puzzle. You know, the Obama tax plan, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but it's not going to be the only thing required to get small businesses back prospering.
Sounds to me like you'd like to raise their taxes and have more government spending.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all, Larry. I'm certainly not calling for tax increases. But listen, let's understand that small businesses are not adding jobs to the economy, not because of tax rates, but because they have no customers. They need demand. They want
people
having demand for their orders and their goods and their services.
Obama's big picture also includes his health care plan. It includes cap and trade. Small businessmen are so frightened, they don't know what to do about the future. What they need is a level playing field and certainty about the taxation and regulatory atmosphere of the future. And right now, they're not getting that from Obama. What they get are a set of policy proposals that were developed because somebody had to write a speech.
Christian, how do you want to create demand? Do you want the government to go out and buy stuff? Do you want them to more shovel-ready products? What's your idea?
Well, look at our 5.7% growth today. A good part of that was stimulated by the government pumping demand into the economy. And certainly, I don't see people upset at that. But there are lots of other things that...
Christian, I beg your pardon. Yeah. The government spending component fell. It fell by 0.2%. And you know, really, over the last year, it's gone up about 1.5%. I mean, for $800 billion, my friend, I would have hoping for a bigger kicker. Oh, that is, unless those Keynesian multipliers don't work.
Larry, we have a disagreement about the effect of the Recovery Act on GDP.
I'm just looking at this.
Okay, well, let him finish. Go ahead. Tell us how to create demand.
But leaving that aside, what government needs to do at this point is a multitude of things. It's going to include some hiring tax credits. It's going to include some direct investment. And it's also going to include investing in industries that get the private sector up and running, like talking about clean energy.
Oh, come on.
Something that's going to create
jobs are a farce. They're not going to rescue the
creation.
economy. The thing that bothers me about this discussion is this view that Obama is some kind of potentate. He's all-seeing, and he will decide who to penalize and who to reward in our society. That's inconsistent with a free economy. And if we want to have policy made, let's have it made by the market, not speechwriters.
Can I ask Christian?
We've had policy made by markets, and that's, in fact, why Barack Obama was elected, to correct what was an incredible decade of imbalance and
So
market.
capitalism doesn't work. So we have the most powerful and rich country in the world because capitalism does not work.
It clearly has not worked for millions of people over the course
Well, it
of
may
the
be
last
clear to you.
8
It's
years.
not clear to me.
It's not clear to you? Well, you know, it was
Well, how
it was
about
pretty
something
much clear to
positive?
the country
How about
last
something
November.
that Obama could do tomorrow that would cost nothing, add nothing to the deficit? He could suspend Davis-Bacon, which requires government money spent on construction projects to go for something called the prevailing wage, where the government pays 22% more for construction than the market would dictate, and in some cities, in some professions, 60% more. This year, that would create 160,000 jobs and not cost taxpayers a penny. Would you favor that?
We've heard these talking points from the right for
It's
decades.
not a talking point.
Tired talking points. Listen.
Well, what's so tired about it? It hasn't been tried.
The fact remains, it hasn't been tried because it's terrible policy. That's
No,
why
it's
it hasn't
because
been
there's
tried.
a special interest group called the AFL-CIO that will not allow it to happen.
That's right. That's right. The
And most
AFL-CIO
construction
is the
companies are
reason that
small
we are in
construction companies,
economic
and they
distress.
tend to be the
That is
people who are not
completely
unionized.
laughable.
All right,
And it
to
hurts
the
small business the worst.
To the
It
millions
hurts
who are
small
unemployed and
construction
who've had
companies
slow
more.
wage growth, the fact that you would demonize the AFL-CIO as the reason for their issues just shows how incredibly far-reaching and desperate you are.
Well, yeah, that's why people are joining labor unions now. They are not. The only people joining labor unions are public sector employees because they have the cushiest jobs.
Because they're the only ones who have jobs.
Christian,
That's the issue.
Christian,
Well, if Obama has its way, that's the way we're going to end up, for
Christian,
sure.
can I ask you a question?
Sure, Larry.
Because you are a consistent, rigorous thinker. Instead of these teensy tiny temporary tax credits,
Yes.
President Obama had very sensible idea, zero capital gains tax.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's for a teensy tiny amount of businesses. It's only
Sure.
for a year or two. But if you believe in the zero capital gains tax, why not universalize it for all businesses, large and small?
Well,
If the president is signing on to the benefits of lower capital gains to promote more capital and investment, which helps real income and helps jobs, why not universalize that, Christian?
Because he's trying to level the playing field. Small businesses right now compete unfairly against larger businesses on average for investment. And by making capital gains taxes on that investment zero, he's making it more attractive for larger scale investors.
How about
so this
zero?
is not. But this is not.
Let's create a 50-state empowerment zone. No capital gains taxes for a whole bunch of years, so we can have a flood of new investment to finance all businesses, including new businesses that we don't even know about today. Now that would put some torque and some animal spirits into this, Christian. I beg you for consistency on this point.
I don't think you're going to get there, Larry.
You're
No,
not,
listen,
you're
he's
not going to
coming
quite
on
get
here.
there,
He's
Larry,
coming on
but
here.
where Obama is starting is a good place to start, and I would hope that you would embrace it.
I think that President
All right.
Obama has supply-side instincts. I'm just trying to bring them out of him.
Well, Larry, I'm not so sure
We gotta
about
leave it
that.
there. Yeah.
But why is he starting a year into his presidency? It's because we have 10% unemployment. That's
Okay.
why.
I don't know
We
who
got to go. We're
once
going to leave
said
it there.
this. A very
Thanks to
famous
both of you for a
person
good
said
debate.
this.
We appreciate it.
Better late than never. Sorry.